Hello, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about permissions, NTFS permissions. So there are two types of permissions. One is security permissions, and second one is sharing permissions. Please mute yourself, guys. Please mute. Okay. So let's discuss about security permissions. Now, first, what is the permissions? What are the permissions? Permissions define the type of access granted to user, group, or a computer to access resources. So why we need a permissions? To access files, to access folders, to access printers, to access computer, to access resources. Resources is nothing but all what we have uh, this what we have worked. I mean, files, folders, printers, all these resources, hardware and software, all the resources we call resources. Permissions can be applied resources such as files, folders, printers. So to access files, to access folders, to access printers, we need a permissions. Okay, these are all called resources. So there are two types of permissions. One is security level permissions and second one is share level permissions. So what is security level permissions? Security level permissions can be implemented on NTFS partitions. This can be implemented on NTFS partitions. NTFS partitions, so we can see the NTFS partitions. If you log into the animation, or let me show in my computer. So these are all NTFS permissions. Let's see. So right click on any partition. See, this is NTFS. So we can implement security permissions on any NTFS partitions. Security or NTFS permission can be set on drives, folders, and files, where on which we can implement on which files sorry on which things we can implement NTFS partitions means we can implement on drives. I mean, we can implement on C drive. You can implement on C drive, and you can implement on folders and files and files. You can implement on files. For example, okay, let me create a file. So you can implement on file. So security permissions can be implemented on drives, folders, on files. Okay. So on three things, on these three things, we can implement security permissions. Next, by default, security permissions will be inherited from its parent drive or folder. So by default, for example, this hello folder got the permissions from C drive. Inherited means getting the permissions from C drive. Hello hi file will get the permissions from hello folder. So this is called inherited permissions. Inherited permissions. So when you create a file, the file will take the permissions from the hello folder. When you create a folder in C drive, the folder will get the permissions from C drive. This is called inherited permissions. File permissions override folder permissions. Yes. So if you create a file under this folder, what are the permissions this file getting from hello? That permissions will be override on file. This is override because whatever you are giving permissions, for example, I'm giving a special permissions on hello. Okay, so those permissions will override on files. What are the files inside the hello folder will get the permissions from the hello. So if you give permissions on a hello folder, that permissions will be applied on the files which are in hello folder. Next, creator of the file and folders are their owners. So as I said yesterday, if you create a file, let's see who is the owner of this file. Go to details, owner, administrator. Okay. Okay. So let me check here. Yesterday we created two files. So let me check this owner, administrator. And what about this file owner? See, because this file was created by the administrator in administrator login. This file was created in ARN login, in ARN account. So that is the reason these files, whoever created these files, those are the owners of the files. Not only files, folders as well. Folders as well. They are the owners. Now, different security permissions are. What are the security permissions? Means read, write, execute, modify, list folder content, full control. These are the security permissions. If you right click on it, go to properties, security, you can see the permissions. Full control, modify, read and execute, list folder contents, read, write, and special permissions. These are the security permissions which we can apply on any file or folder. Okay. Next, what are the share level permissions? It can be implemented on NTFS and FAT partitions. The share permissions will be implemented on NTFS or FAT partitions. So FAT partition is a very old file system. NTFS is the new file system. So this share permissions will work on both file systems. Okay, it can be set drives and shared folders, but not files. Share permissions can be implemented on folders, drives, but not on files. We can implement share permissions on drives and shared folders, but we cannot implement on files. What are the shared folder? What are the shared folders? Shared folders can be accessed from the network. For example, see this hello folder is accessible to any user when the user log into this mission, right? Because this hello folder in DC system, so that whoever log into the DC system can be accessible hello folder. But whoever log into this mission, Windows 7 mission, cannot be accessible. Windows 7, whoever log in, for example, yeah, let me log into this. Now, ARN, here ARN logged in this mission. So this folder cannot be accessible. Hello folder is not accessible to this system, and hello folder cannot be accessible to this member server. Okay. So, but the users able to access hello folder when they are logged into this mission. Okay. But other users who are not logged into this mission cannot access hello folder. Okay. So if we want to make the hello folder accessible to all the systems users, then we need to share this folder. Then only this folder will be accessible to all the machines. That is called share. Share means you are sharing this folder to all the computers in the domain, in the network. Okay, that is called share. That is called shared folders. When you, so shared folders, for example, this is the shared folder. Let's assume this is the shared folder. This is not shared folder. We are not sharing to anyone. This is a shared folder. So if you copy the shared folder and paste in any other a place in the system, that share permissions will be vanished. Will be vanished. So when you copy or remove shared folder, the folder will no longer be shared. To hide the shared folder, include a dollar sign. Yes. So if you want to hide shared folders, generally, if you want to hide anything, you need to right click on it, go to properties, hide, so that this folder will be hide. Apply. See, this folder will, so that is a normal hide process. If you hide any folder, you can hide like that. Right click on it, go to properties, hide, apply. Okay. So you cannot see the folder because the folder was hidden. So if the shared folder, want to hide, so that is a normal folder. I hide the folder. Okay. If you want to see the folders, click hide items. So you can see hide items. So let's remove the hide. Okay. So if I want to share the shared folder, if we want to hide the shared folder, then what should we do? We should dollar sign. To hide shared folder, include a dollar after the name. You need to add the dollar sign after the name. So we'll discuss all this in a lab. I'm just explaining the theory part. So what are the permissions for share level permissions? So it's a simple read and write. Read and write. That's it. Only two permissions. In security, we have seen many, but share level permissions, we can give either read or a write. Only two permissions. Okay, only two permissions. Next, effects on NTFS permissions when copying or moving files and folders. Okay, so when you copy file and folder within the same partitions or a different partition, they inherit the permissions of the destination folder. Yes. For example, see here the same drive, I'm just copying, okay, pasting the data here itself. So what will happen? The permissions, whatever the hello folder having permissions, those permissions will be copied to this hello-copy. Hello one. Let me rename. So now hello and hello one having same permissions because hello one got the security permissions from this folder. Okay. When we copy the data in the same drive. Next, when you move files and folders to different partitions, they inherit the permissions of the destination folder. So for example, I copied from, if I copy from here to here, here to here, then what will happen? What are the permissions C drive having? Those permissions will be applied to hello. So hello one will not get the permissions from the hello folder in the D drive. Okay. So hello one get the permissions from the C drive, not from D drive, C drive, because the 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 data is copied from different place to here. So that is the reason here what are the C drive having the permissions, the same permissions will be applied on hello one. Next, when you move files and folders within the same partition, they retain their previous permissions. So this is copy. For example, paste, cut and paste, move, that is move, cut. Okay, here let me paste here. So what will happen? The same permissions will apply. Even if you copy, paste, you retain the same permissions. So this is important points. So read after the class one more time. If you don't understand, ask me in the next class or end of this class. Okay. So next, adding a map drive. Adding a map drive means, for example, okay, will mapping a drive simple means to connect a local drive with a specially allocated shared directory or a folder on another computer. After a drive has been mapped, you can access the shared resources and treat it as if it is located locally on your computer. Yes. For example, you want to connect this machine, or this machine want to connect this folders, hello one folder. So to connect the hello one folder, you need first the hello one should be shared. Hello one should be shared. After that, you have to access the shared folder with UNC path. Okay. Sir, every time we need to connect any server's shared folders, instead of connecting shared folder, we can mount a shared folder. We can mount a shared folder here. So you no need to connect the shared folder every time by accessing UNC path. Okay. So that is called mapper. This will, I think, will be, you will get understanding when we are doing lab. Okay. So access based enumeration. This will, instead of explaining, I will explain the lab more so that you can understand well. So access based enumeration displays only the files and folders that a user have a permissions to access. If the user does not have a read permissions for a folder, when Windows hide the folder from the user view. For example, the hello folder. So I'm the administrator, right? So if I don't have a access, I mean, if the administrator doesn't have access on a hello folder, even read permissions, then the hello one folder not visible to administrator. So that is called enumeration based access. If the user doesn't have a permissions on a file or a folder, those files or folders will not be visible to that particular user. So that is called access based enumeration. So that's all about theory. Let's jump into the lab. If you have any questions on theory part, you can ask me now. Any questions? Okay. So first, security level permissions. Let's do the lab on security level permissions, how the security level permissions will use in the real time. Okay. Let me create a data folder. Okay. Data. I created a folder called data. Now right click on it, go to Properties, Security tab, click Advanced. So here disable inheritance. Inheritance means what are the permissions we are getting from D drive to data. So I'm disabling the inherit permissions. Okay. Remove all inherited permissions from this object. Removed. So no permissions from D drive to data. So I removed all the permissions. Click. Now, one moment. Apply. Okay. No permissions. See here, no permissions. Click. Now click Edit. See, any permissions now? No permissions. Click Edit. Now let's add a security permissions here. So I'm adding administrator. So the username is administrator. So I'm just giving permissions to administrator. Administrator. Okay. Check name. See, this is administrator. Okay. Okay. Apply. So I'm giving here read. See, read list folder, execute. So I want to give full permissions. Apply. So now only administrators having permissions on this data folder. That is full permissions. So full permissions read write means administrator can create a file. Just rendering. And administrator can delete the file as well and rename. So full permission means rename, modify, okay, write, append the data. Administrator can do anything because administrator having a full rights on data folder. So if if having a full rights on data folder, that means administrator can rename the data and update the data, append the data, adding the data, deleting the data, okay, anything he can, yeah, like that. Okay, so let's verify. See, I've given permissions to only administrator. Remember, I give the permissions. You go to properties, security, only administrator, no one else in this, only administrator. So let me log into other user like ERN. Okay, ERN. D drive, data, right? See, you don't currently have permissions to access this folder because user is ARN. User is ARN, but ARN doesn't have permissions on this folder. So hence ARN user cannot access data folder. Are you clear? So let me say, sign out, go to administrator, T drive, data, properties, security. Let me add ARN. ARN. Okay. Now I'm going to give only read list folder, read and execute. That's it. I'm not giving modify. Modify means write permissions. I'm not going to give modify, write, special permissions, full permission. Only just read and see the content in the folder. Can see the content in the folder. Okay. Now go to properties, check, make sure. See, now ARN user having only 3 permissions. Administrator having full permissions. So hence administrator can append the data, okay, add the data, deleting the data. So administrator can delete the data. Okay. Now let me log into ARN. Go to. Now let me open. See, I log with ARN account. Okay. Open. Let me open. See, now it is opening because now the ARN user having read. Now ARN user having read and execute permissions. Okay, let me try to delete this. What is saying? You do not have permissions. See, you cannot delete because you do not have a permissions. Okay, let me add some data. Hello, at least if I cannot delete, let me save some data. See, access denied. So only thing you can only read the data. That's it. You can view the data. You can read the data. You can view the files in the data folder. You cannot write, add, modify the data. Okay. Next. This is security permissions. Let's share permissions. Let's talk about share permissions. Any questions on security permissions? Okay. Now let's talk about shared permissions. How the shared permissions uh, will apply in the real time. Okay. Now log into administrator. Okay. Go to hello folder. Go to D drive. Right click on hello. How we are going to share the folders on how to share the folders in the computer. System. Go to here. Go to share specific people. Specific people. Yeah. So here, if you want to give sharing permissions to a particular user, okay. See here, read write. Now let me uh, give user 1 second. Any users in the network? Let me check the users. User computers. Let me take a new user for this shared permissions. Yeah, like J. Okay, J. J. Add. See. Now Jaykrith is having read permissions. Share. So I'm sharing this folder to Jaykrith user. Okay, along with ARN administrator. So administrator is the owner and ARN is having read permissions. Jaykrith is having read permissions. If you don't want, you can remove it like this. If you don't want to give permissions, you can remove this. Okay. So now giving permissions, share permissions to Jaykrith user. Share. Okay. See, this is the UNC path. So if you want to access this folder from any system, you need to open like this. This is called UNC path. Okay, UNC path slash win AD. What is slash win hyphen AD? Is the system. Win hyphen AD means computer name. So you need to give system name and folder name. Then only you can access. Okay. Now go to other mission. Okay. J. Let me log into with the account J. Okay. If I want to access a data folder from the DC, from the Win, what is the computer name? WinAD. So WinAD is the computer name. I mean, domain controller name. Okay. So if I want to access the data folder from this mission, open this computer // win hyphen ad /c. If you click slash, you will see shared folder data open. So you can see the files. So you can access the shared folder from any system in the domain or a network if you have access. If you don't have access, you cannot get the share. Okay, let me log into other. Let me log into other user. So what is other user? Raju. Okay, log in with Raju account. No, password is wrong or username is incorrect. Okay, what is the username? Okay, Raju. Okay, Ravi. Maybe. Oh, username and password incorrect. Okay, maybe we need to. I forgot the password. Reset the password. Oh, unlock. No, no, no. It's a locked account is got locked out. Unlock it. Password is correct. And now right click on it. Okay. Okay. Now one moment. Refresh. Either let's log into Raju. Maybe I forgot their passwords or what. Let me reset the passwords. Better. Reset the password. Okay. Now Ravi. I reset the password, Ravi, right? Ravi. Yeah. Now I'm able to log in. So if Ravi is able to access the folders, can anyone tell me? Is able to access Ravi? Win hyphen ad win. No, he cannot. Because see, Windows cannot access win hyphen ad data because Ravi doesn't have a permission, shared permissions on the folder. So that is the reason he cannot access this data folder. Okay, let me give a permissions to Ravi. Right click on it, go to share, specific people. Now give Ravi. Ravi. Add. Write permissions. So I will give write permissions to Ravi. Read and write permissions. Share. So win-edit data. Ravi has to access this folder from network path, UNC path. Win-ad/data open. Now he is able to see. After giving the permissions, Ravi is able to access the folder. But now Ravi can edit the data because Ravi having write permissions. Okay. So that is how we can apply shared permissions on a folders. Any questions? In the real time, we share the data like this on user accounts. So that user can access the data from any system, So you can see the data. Thank you. So the thank you file was created by Ravi. Let's see, is the same or different? Right click on it, go to properties, details. See, owner, who is the owner? Ravi. So this file was created Ravi because owner is Ravi. So in Ravi account, this file was created. Let's, okay. Any questions? So next, from any system, you can here, let me log in. Let me access win-ad/data. Windows, because ARN doesn't have a permissions. Let me add permissions to, let me give the permissions to ARN. Okay. ARN, add. Okay, find ARN, check name. Okay. Now giving read permissions, only read permissions. So ARN can only access the data. That's it. Win-edit data. See, now ARN is able to access the data, but he cannot create, or he cannot update. So you need a permission to perform this action. Let me give the permissions to ARN. I mean, write permissions. Write permissions. Share. Done. Now let me create the folder now. See, now the folder is creating. So this is how share permissions will work in the real time. Okay. Next, coming to, see, every time, if you observe, every time I used to access the shared folder win-ad-data. This is right. For every time when I want to access the shared data, I used to type like this. Only through UNC path we can access the shared data, shared folders. So instead of access the shared folders like this, there is a provision and facility to access very easily than typing the path every time here. That is called map drive. So let's map the path in this machine. How? So first, right click on it, right click on it, right click on right click on computer, map network drive, click map network drive. See, if you choose, you can choose a drive letter. So let me choose my drive letter Q. Okay. Okay. Now give the path win-ad/data. Okay. Give the path, UNC path. See example here. This is the server name and this is the shared folder name. You have to give the path like this. How you're accessing the shared folders using UNC path. So you have to give the UNC path here. Okay. Finish. That's it. Close. So no need to type the path every time here. You can simply open like a drive. You can mount the drive. So you feel it is a one of the drive. So you can simply access the remote shared folders like this. This is called network map drive. Okay. So you can add drives. You can add remote shared folders like drives like. So simply you can open and add the text. This is called map drive. Okay. Next, coming to access based enumeration. What is access based enumeration? So as I said, if you have access, then only you can see the data. And if you have access, then only you can see the data. Otherwise, you cannot see the data. That is access based enumeration. Okay. If you don't have access on the particular file, you cannot see the file. Let's see. So this is data folder. So who is the user here? ARN. Okay. Now here the user Ravi. So now Ravi is able to see all files and ARN also able to see all files in the shared folder called data. Okay. Now for coming to DC. So total files 5. Total files 5. See total files 5. Okay. Now right click on a thank you folder. See thank you for sorry, thank you file is able to see by Ravi and ARN. Okay. Now right click on thank you file, go to properties, go to properties. Okay. Select security, select security. And so I want to deny. Yeah. ARN. Okay. Edit, select ARN. Now just denying. Click deny. Click deny. Apply. Okay. 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 So I denied the permissions to ARN account on thank you file. Okay. Now go to where is the ARN account logged in? Here in this mission. Just you refresh it. Now you're able to see thank you, right? Now refresh it. See, ARN is not visible to, sorry, thank you file is not visible to ARN account, but it is visible to Ravi. See, Ravi. Thank you file is visible to Ravi. Thank you file is visible to administrator account, but not visible to ARN. See, this is ARN account. Not visible to ARN because I denied the permissions to ARN account on this file. That is called access based enumeration. So if you have access, then only you can see the file. If you don't have access on the file, you cannot see the file. See now only, okay, let me log into other account, log off. See, did you understand? See now, thank you for file is accessible to Ravi, accessible to administrator, but not access uh, visible to Aaron. Okay, okay. Let me log into here, Aaron. Sign out. Aaron. Go to D drive, data. See, this is Aaron. See now here, able to see. Go to properties because it should not visible. Okay, one moment. It is, see, it works on UNC path. So if you log in ARN from here, let me log into here also, ARN. Yeah, sorry. So the ARN account cannot view the data from the UNC path. ARN. Okay. Now go to win -ad / win -ad / data. See, there is no thank you file is visible to ARN. Wherever ARN log in and see the data, that folder will not be, sorry, that file will not be visible. Open. No. So let me remove the permissions. I mean, denied permissions. Go to data, right click on it, go to properties, security, edit, select ARN account and remove it. Remove the deny, apply, okay, okay. Now just refresh it. Now the thank you file will be visible to ARN. See, now it is visible. Refresh it. Now it is visible. That is called access-based enumeration. So if you have access, then only you can see the data. If you don't have access, you cannot see the data in a simple. Okay, this is how we are usually apply access-based enumeration permissions in the real time. So that's all for today. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.